All right, let's settle one of the great unspoken debates of travel. You know the one. It happens in that last moment before you check out of a hotel, that moment of hesitation that divides guests everywhere. Do you strip the bed or not?
So, picture this. Your bags are packed, you've done that frantic last-minute search for your phone charger, and then you look at the bed. Do you pull off all the sheets because you think you're being helpful, or do you leave it perfectly made because you think that's more polite? It's such a small thing, but there's a surprisingly big debate behind it.
You know, the main reason most of us pause is because we have this idea in our heads that stripping the bed actually gets in the way, that it makes more work for the housekeeping staff. But is that really true? Well, we looked into it, and the answer might just change your checkout routine forever.
So this all boils down to what you could call the checkout dilemma. We all want to be good, considerate guests, but what does that actually mean in this specific situation?
It's a real conflict of courtesy, isn't it? On the one hand, you don't want to leave a mess, but on the other, you don't want to overstep and mess with a professional's well-oiled routine. So where does stripping the bed land on that spectrum? Well, to get the real answer, we have to stop thinking like a guest and start thinking like a housekeeper. So let's shift our perspective for a second and take a look at how a hotel room actually gets cleaned, because understanding their workflow is the key to solving this whole mystery. The job of a hotel housekeeper is incredibly demanding. I mean, physically, but also in terms of time. They have a specific number of rooms they have to get through in a shift, and literally every single second they can save on one task, they can use on another. It's all about making sure that room is perfectly sanitized and ready for the next person. It is all about efficiency.
So here's how it usually goes down. After a guest checks out, the housekeeper comes in. And one of the very first big things they have to do is deal with the linens. They have to collect all of them before they can even start the real cleaning and sanitizing. Then once the room's clean, a fresh set of linens goes on. That linens collected step, that's where our whole question comes into play.
And this is where you can really see the difference. In scenario A, where the bed is already stripped, the housekeeper can just walk in, grab the bundle of linens, and move on. Boom, done. But in scenario B, they have to walk in, pull back the comforter, untuck the sheets, pull off all the pillowcases. That might only take a minute, but you multiply that by dozens of rooms a day, and that time really adds up.
Okay, but I know what you're thinking. What about stains? Don't they need to see the sheets on the bed to check for stains and spot treat them? This is hands down the #1 reason people give for not stripping the bed, and it's time to bust this myth wide open.
I mean, this idea is so common. We have this mental picture of a housekeeper carefully scanning the bed for a coffee spill here or a smudge there before they bundle everything up. It seems to make sense, right? But it's just not how the process works at all.
And there it is. That's the key. This quote, coming directly from people in housekeeping, tells you everything you need to know. The guest room is simply not the place where stain inspection happens. Their priority in that room is speed and removal.
The reality is, hotel operations are built to be super streamlined. All the used linens, whether they're stained or perfectly clean, go into one big pile and are whisked away to the laundry facility. It's down there, in a totally different area, that everything gets washed, inspected, and treated. The main goal in the guest room is to get the dirty linens out as fast as possible so the real deep cleaning can begin. And stripping the bed, it lines up perfectly with that goal.
So, now that we've busted the great stain myth and we understand the logistics, let's talk about what this small action truly means to the people whose jobs are actually affected by it.
And this was incredible. The sources we looked at were completely unanimous on this point. Housekeepers don't just see this as good etiquette, they actually called it a genuine act of kindness. It's a small way for a guest to say, hey, I see you and I appreciate the really hard work you're doing.
And the impact in the real world is huge. This isn't just theoretical. It directly speeds up their day. It makes their whole workflow smoother. And it even reduces the physical strain of yanking off tightly fitted sheets. And when they can get rooms turned over faster, well, that benefits the entire hotel.
I want to just pause on this quote for a second, because it is incredibly powerful. This comes directly from a housekeeper. The feeling of gratitude is so intense that they'd be willing to give up their own hard-earned money just to say thank you. If that doesn't tell you how much this simple act helps, I don't know what will.
So there we have it. The answer is definitive. Stripping the bed is one of the kindest, most genuinely helpful things you can do as a hotel guest. So let's look at how to build this into a super simple new checkout routine.
It is literally this easy, just 2 simple steps. First, pull everything off the bed.
The fitted sheet, the flat sheet, the duvet cover, all the pillowcases. Second, just leave it all in a loose pile. That's it. You've just saved a housekeeper valuable time and energy.
And this is the perfect way to think about it. You're not doing their job for them. Not at all. You are basically collaborating with them. You're just taking care of the very first step in their process, which lets them walk into the room and get a running start on all the other demanding work they have to do.
And that really leaves us with a final thought. This one simple action, stripping a bed, it shines a light on all the often invisible labor that makes our travels so smooth and possible. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other small gestures could we make to ease the burden for the people's hard work we might not always see? Definitely something to think about.